Alright, today we're going to be talking about the best team comp for Adventure. Again, we are on my alt account. It hit 28 days. I was debating between making a 1 month account review, but 28 days isn't really a month. It is for February, but in general, it's not really a month. So I'm going to record that in about 2 days, right? So that'll be uploaded in 2 days. But again, this is the alt account that I do have, as you can tell by the name Draw on it, right? So let's talk about this Adventure. Of course, Adventure everyone's going to have to do, especially when it comes to some specialty changes for certain characters such as Amika, Christy. Some certain characters are locked behind finishing a certain story. I'm pretty sure I know Glenn as well. And obviously Amika, you do have to kill the entire episode number 5 to get her. Again, she's a fantastic unit, but you do have to do the entire episode. So let's talk about Adventure real quick. Now, I am currently in episode 4, chapter 6. I'm working on Aiden right now. Actually, I think I'm going to do 2 more chapters and I'm done touching the story. But I am going to be talking about a certain team that I do use that's pretty easy to come by, and you get all the gear for free pretty much. But I'm going to pretty much stop at chapter 6 because, actually, I'm going to stop at chapter 5S, because after 5S, I don't really care for Fire Aiden. She's not going to do anything for me, because I'm going to go do Rift, and all I need for Rift is Green Aiden. I already made a video on it. It's up. I'll put the link down below in the description if you want to go look at it, because again, I could just use Aiden for my Rift team since I don't have Wukong, right? Yes, there was a pack for it, but I don't want to buy it. I don't want to spend money on this account. I really don't want to, not right now. Again, the only pack I did buy was the monthly pack for the 2,000 runs I did on the Ant story. Also about that, I might do another 2,000 runs on unrecorded history just to compare the data, but I'm not sure if I'm going to start it today or I'm going to do it next week, because next week is going to be the last weekend of all the buffs together. So I'm not too sure yet. I'm still kind of debating about that because I do work tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. I'm not too sure yet. We'll find out. But let's get right into it. So again, if you don't know yet, if you want to get right into Rift, I'm trying to get right into Rift after I do this chapter number 5. I could technically farm Rift now, just because I already did all the important stuff on Aiden's skill tree, but I'm not too sure yet, right? Because this is kind of useless for Rift, doesn't really matter. This doesn't really matter for Rift. Effectiveness is okay, and that doesn't really matter for me at all. I really don't care for it, and this is almost done, right? But all that, we'll see. We'll see if it's really worth me pushing this story. But let's go talk about my team comp. Now, I've been using this team comp ever since the beginning, pretty much, right? Let's look at it. Not pretty much the beginning, maybe since the episode 2. Because after I finished episode 1, I kind of just sat there at episode 2 and just did other stuff. So, actually, I clicked the wrong button. Let's go look at it. And again, I will say this right off the bat. How do I have Brieg when I haven't even finished Adventure's Path? So, I did mention in my decked out selector video, I think it's not a bad idea to really pick out Brieg. Picking out Brieg for a decked out is not that bad. It's actually pretty damn good, because when you really think about this Adventure's Path, you need to do a lot to get Brieg. And when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, he's a unit that's going to get plus 15 anyways. And I need him now more than I will need him later. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just pick him decked out, because again, like I said, he's going to be plus 15. I'm going to use him everywhere. Can save you some more Lagors. And guess what? I actually did. And I 100% still recommend that picking out a decked out Brieg is not a bad option. Again, so this is some of it's free gear. Actually, I don't think any of it is free gear, to be honest. This is free gear. This is not free gear from Wyvern. This is not free gear from Wyvern. Okay, so he's the only one, not really. The boots, I think, are from the free selection. I'm not too sure, because you do get a speed set, so I don't really remember if this is it or not. I think it is. I think it's free. But all the other pieces, besides the sword, helm, chest, and ring, all those pieces are from Wyvern farming. Again, I did pick out Brieg. I have been using him a lot. He easily tanks it. I could put Aureus on him if I really want to, but nah. But again, these stats are good enough. I have not had a single issue. Of course, when it comes to Bellona boss, you're going to have to switch it up. I think I used like Sigrid. No, wait, I used Ravi, Tamarine, Momo, and I think Brieg, because I just had to tank it up and just use Archie to pretty much beat the boss. Right, next is Bellona. Why Bellona, you say? Again, Bellona I did recommend in my decked out selector. Pretty good for Rift. Very, very good for Rift. Very good for Banshee 113 if you actually can one-shot with her. And she's just an overall good unit, especially when it comes to story. Why, you say? Because her SA1, S1 is going to be basically Attacks the enemy with a fan, dealing damage proportional to the enemy's max health. That is absolutely disgusting. Any skills like this, dealing damage proportional to enemy's max health, does a crap ton of damage and very, very good for PvE. S3 is pretty much a AoE defense break with 100% chance. Of course, you get 15%. Right, keep that in mind. So you pair her with, obviously, you do see Arbiter Vildred, and Arbiter Vildred will clear everybody up. Again, I did make a video on the Moonlight Blessing, who I really recommend to pick up from it, and I think it's Arbiter Vildred without a doubt, in my opinion. So in terms of free gear, this is free gear, this is free gear, this is free gear, this is not free gear, this is not free gear, and then this is not free gear. So again, a bit from Wyvern. Of course, the purple pieces, I really don't mind it. EE will be decreased cooldown of butterfly flying by 1, and then I did give her the little cake because obviously there's nothing else really there's not much else better for her that I currently have right now at the moment. So, next, Arbiter Vildred. Again, Arbiter Vildred, he is free. You can pick him for your selector. Got him in Alexa's basket, very, very good. It has EE thanks to that Fenris video I didn't make in terms of Holo Trials. I was able to get top 4%, and I was able to get Arbiter Vildred EE. Not the greatest, got 9%, but again, still nonetheless very, very good. This is all free gear, free gear, free gear, free gear. Everything here is free gear. So again, very easy to make. Again, I think Arbiter Vildred is a must-have. If you do have actually, Alexa's basket also does help quite a bit, giving him an attack buff. So I think it's really worth it decked out. Not a decked out, but I think it's really worth to pick in a selector, or you could buy it from the Dust Shop. Keep that in mind, it is currently inside the Dust Shop if you want to buy it, or again, it's personally up to you. Plus 15 is perfectly fine if you want to buy it or not, or if you have the artifact selector still, it's not bad picking. And then lastly is going to be Tamarine. Good old Tamarine. You do get her for free after you do the connections. Again, she is just on whatever gear. Free gear boots, free gear ring. This neck is literally from that Goblet event. Again, it's just there to give her some stats. I haven't really bothered to farm Wyvern. I've been farming Wyvern, but again, I'm not really getting lucky in terms of necks of HP or defense. Again, this thing sucks. It's just there for the percentage. So you could farm the Goblet. I'm not really a big fan of it just because it is guaranteed to low row. Obviously, her entire left side is not. It is all from Wyvern meat, from basically me farming Wyvern, right? 104 piece right here. Very, very good already. Helm, not the greatest, but again, it's just there for the meantime. And then obviously the chest is very, very decent in my opinion, for obviously where the account is currently at. And again, decent build. I have not had a problem with her dying. Yes, the artifact is potion because again, I don't really have a problem dying. If you do, very unlucky RNG. Again, I've been using this team comp ever since episode 1, right? Episode 2, chapter 1. I have not had any problem. I do highly recommend this team. This team is actually pretty damn good when it comes to PvE. Again, I'm already in chapter 4. I'm in episode 4, chapter 6. So we're already zooming along. We are doing absolutely well. Not a single problem again. But when it comes to the bosses, you are going to have to change it up, such as Bellona, Zeo, and all that. Straze, I didn't have a single problem. I used this exact same team. Bellona, I had to tank it down with Ravi, Momo, Tamarine, and Brieg. And then obviously Zeo boss, I could Sigrid as well, just like I just did. I'm going to Sigrid. More like I'm going to be doing that. And again, this team comp should easily work into episode 5. No problem. I'll probably even have better gear by the time I get to episode 5 easily. But again, I do highly recommend this team if you could do it. If not, you could switch out Bellona for maybe Aiden. Or Ravi to really tank it down. But it's going to be much, much slower. Do keep that in mind. Ravi's not that bad. She's a great tank. But it's expected to take a little bit longer. Again, these units I did recommend in my decked out selector. So do keep in mind, all this is based on my decked out selector. If you pick someone else, it's going to be a little bit different. But again, I do highly recommend this. Brieg is definitely worth picking up in the decked out selector. I did mention it inside my decked out video. Again, this team comp is working absolutely perfect. If you are still struggling with the story, I do recommend this team. Again, you saw the gear. It isn't the greatest. My Bellona is mainly geared for Rift, not really anything else. But other than that, thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you guys later on.